Today is Sunday, September 2nd, 2018, and we are recording an interview at the Villagomez Family Reunion in Houston, Texas.
And my name is Angie or Angela, and I am a Villagomez.
Okay, so when and where were you born?
I was born in Houston, Texas, St. Joseph's Hospital,
And your birthday?
July the 20th, 1950.
And how did your parents choose your name? Do you know the story?
My mother liked the name Angela. I think she had a friend or a nun that she knew, and she liked the name Angela. And Ruth was because of my aunt on my dad's side, because her name was Ruth. Okay.
And do you have any nicknames?
Everybody calls me Angie.
And
Yeah.
did your parents call you that?
Uh-huh.
And,
Mhm.
and so tell me, who are your parents? Tell me a little bit about them.
My mother's name was Inez, and her name was Mary Inez Villagomez. And my dad's name was Felix Martinez Lopez. And both of them met in Houston, Texas. Uh, my mother was born here in the United States also, and so was my dad. They were born here in Houston, Texas also.
And what did they do?
My father was a construction worker. He would build fireplaces. He would build homes. He was in construction, and my mother had babies all during the 50s. I guess they didn't have a TV.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
My mother and my father both had together 6 girls and 4 boys. Hmm.
Where are you
I had 2 brothers that were older than me. Felix, and he passed in '92. And then my brother David, also he deceased. He was older than me, and he died about, I believe it's 94, 95. So I'm one of the oldest surviving ones of our family. So yeah.
um, tell me, tell me about your parents. What were their personalities like? How would you describe them?
Well, my dad, they used to call him El Güero. And he was born in Second Ward. And there was a lot of people there that he knew. I didn't get to know my dad's side of the family very well, but my dad was very friendly. My dad had a beautiful voice. He used to sing a lot. And of course, back in the day, they would ask him to go to the cantina to have a beer, and he would be the singer. And his friends played the guitar, and my mom was there, and she sang too. So Grandma didn't like that too much because she shouldn't be going to cantinas. So, but yeah, my mom was feisty. She was a feisty woman. And if I could tell you right now, I think my mom had ADHD because she just went and went and went. I mean, she had 9 kids, and all during from 50 to 62, 1962. And Mama always cooked a lot. She made tortillas all the time. She always had something on the table for all of us 9 kids. Mother pick up a little job here. She'd pick up a lot there. And she was like my grandpa, like my Agustin, my grandpa Agustin. And but mother, like I say, she just was, she just had all that energy. She would just go go go. And Mama always was. She'd take us to Grandma and Grandpa's house, all 9 of us. And Grandma said, ay, ahí viene toda la familia, todos los muchachos. And then my mom would get kind of mad because, Y luego my grandma, she was a good woman, en Edelia. And my grandpa, he says, ay, pues, ojalá que tienen alguien que los van a llevar para atrás a la casa. So, porque se está poniendo ya late, it's getting late. And he said, pues a ver cuándo viene el güero, and my dad. And then mother never contemplated on the future. She just had to be there. What she did is she planned it right then and there. She had to, because with so many kids, and mom always took us to church, and my dad too. We were always church going people. And back in the uh, well, we went to Immaculate Heart of Mary there in Magnolia, and then after we moved out of Magnolia, we moved to Denver Harbor, and my dad said, "Oh, pues, we're gonna be going to Denver Harbor," and my mom said, "Pues, they got a real nice neighborhood, and they got good schools there." So we moved to Denver Harbor, and mother made this comment. She said, "Pero allá en Denver Harbor hay puros bolillos, there's a lot of bolillos." And then my dad said, "Pues todos nosotros estamos real, light complected, so we fit right in," because we look like we were, bolillos. And so while we were there, mother got us into Resurrection Church. So we were always going to church because grandma and grandpa always put that on all of us to go to church. So we went to Resurrection, and after that we just lived there in Denver Harbor for I forget how long. So yeah, that's where we went. Yeah.
Tell me about that home, the house that you moved. Can you describe it for me?
Oh, I still remember we lived on Corpus Christi Street there in Denver Harbor. It was 6917 or 60. I forget. My sister knows, but we lived right there. It was a little bitty casita though. I mean, we had all of us 9 kids in there, and yeah, we were poor, but my dad always provided for us. And my brothers and sisters, I don't know, for some reason I think we were all real good natured. We've never had fights or anything. Our way of entertaining all of us 9 kids is we would go outside, and we had trees in the backyard, so we climbed trees, and we make mud, what do you call it? Little mud pies out in the back, and that's the way all of us kids did. Or we would put Mama used to put the clothes out on the clothesline, and my brother David, he thought of something because he was always thinking of stuff to do. So he said, let's put a cobija on the line, on the clothesline. And I said, "What are you doing now, David?" And then he said, "We're gonna have a show." And then he would say, "Angie, you pull the cover like that, and I'm gonna be on the other side, and that's the stage." So he would make up stuff, and then all my brothers and sisters would sit on the grass in the backyard, And he said, "Okay, pull the cobija over to the side." So I would, and he's my brother, the one right above me, and then he would get in front of the kids, and he would say, "Okay, my name is David Lopez, and today we're gonna do this and that and that," And he would, that's how we would we would entertain ourselves, and he would sing because David had a very good voice too, and then ¿quién era? Terry and Rosie, they would want to come out and say, I want to do, So they wanted to be on the stage. So that's the way we would do it. All of us kids wanted to be important. We wanted to have our own show. Because we did have a TV, but most of the time Mama wanted us to go outside, get out of her hair. And so that's the way we would entertain ourselves. I remember that one night, because we only had two rooms in the there in the little house. David and Felix, they got to sleep on the big bed, and the rest of us kids, we slept on a mattress on the ground on the floor. And well, of course, my mom and my dad had their room, yeah. And and it got real cold. I mean, it just got real cold at one time. And I, my sister Kathy, she was a baby then. She was about 3 or 4 years old. She was sleeping right next to me, and it was so cold. She got close to me, and then all of a sudden, I felt something real warm on my leg. And then it got real cold. And I said, oh, she peed on me. So I got up and I said, Mom, please, And Mama got up to, ay, esta huerca se mió. I said, Mom, it's cold. And so Mama, she real hurried and she got something for us to, sleep there. And my dad también se levantó, and he was going to help my mom. My dad was a good-natured guy. He had a really good uh, you know, personality, and he was a good father. And my mom was always there, so they were good with us 9 kids. But I remember Mama, she would go to the commodities, and my dad was out there doing some kind of a job, and my mom would go get the commodities. She would get butter and canned eggs, powdered eggs, and then she would get all kinds of stuff. And so she cooked it, made tortillas, she made beans, she made rice, and that's why I say Mom had she was a go-getter. She was a go-getter. And yeah, and that's the way Mom and our family went. So anyway, that's the part.
You mentioned that they were singers.
Uh-huh.
What kind of music would they sing?
Mexican music, puro mexicano. And Mom had a good voice, and yeah, they both sang real well, and then I sing too, and so yeah, that's the way it went with them, yeah.
Do you know if that's how they met?
My mom and my dad met after my dad came back from the war in 1944, and I'm not really sure where they met. I never did really ask her, but he fell in love with my mom. My mom wanted to be with him, and so that's where they started. And they got married in 1945, as soon as he got out of the war. And he went 4 years. He was in the army. Yeah, so he served for 4 years.
Do you know what she was doing? Was she working when they met?
No, I don't know that far back. What she did. No, I don't. Yeah.
Do you have anything from your parents? Any memorabilia or photographs?
Oh my God, I took a lot of pictures of my dad. My dad was one of these guys, handsome looking fella, and se parecía mucho a Elvis Presley. And even my grandson, I have him here, and he got the blue eyes because of our family, and but yeah, my dad was a very handsome looking fella, and my mom was a good looking woman también, and I guess they just attracted each other. And matter of fact, my dad's birthday is September I want to say 17th or 18th, but he always said his birthday was 16 de septiembre because he wanted everybody to celebrate with him.
Is there anything else you'd like to share about yourself or your parents?
Well, not really. I'm just real happy that, I had a happy life, and I lived with my grandparents there for a while, and because of certain things that came up that weren't too happy, there were not, well, there wasn't real happy a certain time in my mom and my dad's life. So Mother asked my grandma if I could live with her, and I love my grandma and grandpa. I mean, my grandma was the best. And my grandpa said, okay, que se venga a vivir con ellas. Because there were 9 kids, it's really a lot. And so I was all happy because I loved it. And then he took me to Mexico, and I see, I learned how to speak Spanish because of them. And then they would take me to the interior of Mexico, and took classes with a cousin of mine. And then that's the way I learned my Spanish. hmm And so when my grandmother died, and Adelia, that's Mama's mother, she died in 1968. And my grandpa was alive, and he didn't die till he was in 1989, something like that. Yeah, and so, but they raised me the last 7 years that I lived with them, off and on. Of course, I go see mother, and all. So, but other than that, I had a pretty pleasant experience with my mom, my dad, my siblings, all of them, and everybody knows how to speak a little bit of Spanish, and but I know how to speak more than they do. Yeah, and they all were real smart. All my brothers and sisters were real smart, and they all had certain things that some of us were not, that they were better at. But I believe that my grandfather and my grandmother, they were the foundation of our, our family, and my mother knew that, and my dad respected that, and so that's where we, had our stronghold there, and like I said, we were strong Catholics, and went to church, and they really put that in our minds and our morality. So they taught us that, and our strength, of course, And then I passed that on to my children, and now I'm 68 years old. I try to do my best to give back to society, and what they had instilled in me, when my mother, my father instilled in me, and because when you get to older, that's what you do. Whatever you learn while you're growing up, you got to give back to give back to society. Do what the society that we're in right now is just so terrible. They need to hear, somebody to encourage them that, hey, you're going the wrong way. You got to focus in life, and seeing that's where I come in. And because I see some people that, I don't know how in the world they can live or manage their money. I said, good grief. If you didn't smoke so much, you'd have some more money, or if you didn't drink so much, you could pay your bills. So yeah, that's what my grandparents did. They really give me a strong backbone. So hope I didn't talk too much.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.